I love you, Meredith Grey. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 saddest Grey's Anatomy character deaths.
You're gonna look at him. You're gonna look at him and memorize every little detail of his face.
An hour ago, he was proposing. And now he's going to the morgue.
She doesn't like him when I'm in the hospital. Makes you wonder why she married a guy with chronic illness.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most devastating character losses on the long-running Shonda Rhimes series. Which Grey's Anatomy death still has you in mourning? Tell us about it in the comments. Number 10, Adele Webber. We might not have seen this death on screen, but that didn't lessen its impact.
You're here. No. When?
Adele Webber's battle with Alzheimer's was already a devastating and doomed process. As she gradually lost control of her memories, her husband Richard's love and commitment could anchor her at first.
Yet, you're my favorite work of art.
Eventually, though, the disease was too far gone. By the time Adele finally succumbed to a heart attack, we had been watching her slip away for a long time. In some ways, her slow decline was more painful than her death itself, especially as we saw the toll it took on both Adele and Richard. But that doesn't mean we'll ever hear My Funny Valentine again without getting choked up.
Sweet coming Valentine, stay.
Number 9, Diane Pierce. This is another death that we all knew was probably inevitable. The doctors of Seattle Grace fought hard against Diane's breast cancer, but all of their best efforts were no match for its rapid spread.
Are you saying that you can't do the surgery to remove the
Met.
Can you do it?
I can, but I'm saying that I won't, because in my professional opinion, I think it's a terrible idea.
In the end, it was Diane herself who made the decision to accept her fate.
You have to fight. I'll help you.
Sweet. Sit down, let me talk to you.
True to her strength of spirit, Diane still tried to make the most of the time left to her, especially when it came to her daughter Maggie.
Never make yourself small for anyone. Be your own person. And try wearing a little lipstick.
Their final scene together in the hospital really hammers home how great her loss will be for the people she leaves behind. Though Diane's ending is peaceful, Maggie's reaction is heartbreaking to witness. Number 8, Samuel Norbert Avery. Losing a parent is always difficult, but there's no agony like that of a parent losing their child. While April and Jackson happily anticipated the birth of their baby, they discovered that he was already suffering a rare genetic disorder. Though they tried to remain optimistic, they would eventually receive the devastating news that their son's condition would be fatal.
Well, it's very sad. If it is indeed type 2 and the infant survives birth, they don't usually live more than a couple of days or weeks.
With only sad options available to them, the couple made the decision to induce labor early so that they could at least meet their son.
You're gonna look at him. You're gonna look at him and memorize every little detail of his face. And you will do that as long as he lives.
The family had only moments together before they lost the baby they named Samuel.
He squeezed my finger. And then he let go.
We mourned with April and Jackson as a day that should have been one of the happiest became one of the most tragic. Number 7, Henry Burton. When Teddy married the chronically ill Henry to give him insurance, it was a gesture of kindness, but not passion.
She doesn't like him when I'm in the hospital. Makes you wonder why she married a guy with chronic illness. Masochist.
Nevertheless, we saw the two actually fall in love over the course of Henry's time on the show.
I'll help you study. You'll be my study buddy.
I'll make your flashcards.
It's so hot, I'm not sure I can even handle it.
The sweet relationship was cut short, however, when Henry went back into the hospital for another surgery. Despite the best efforts on the team, they're ultimately unable to save him. Though her friends initially hid his death from Teddy in order to keep her mind on her own procedure, she eventually had to find out the truth.
Christina, I need you to say it.
Henry is dead.
Watching the usually cool and collected Teddy break down over Henry's body was nothing short of gutting. Number 6, Denny Duquette. The charming Denny Duquette was a favorite patient of both the characters on screen and the audience watching. He shared a special connection with Izzy Stevens, though.
So, you'll be here.
Every day.
After suffering congestive heart failure and surviving a transplant, Denny was ready to put his new heart to a use when he unexpectedly proposed to Izzy.
You're who I want to wake up with, and go to bed with, and do everything in between with.
It wasn't to be, though. After everything he'd been through, Denny died of a blood clot just hours after it seemed like he might be out of the woods. Izzy's utter devastation at his sudden loss remains one of the most memorable scenes in the show's history.
An hour ago, he was proposing. And now he's going to the morgue.
We were all left heartbroken over what could have been. Number 5, Andrew DeLuca. Like so many of the most unfortunate deaths on Grey's Anatomy, this one completely blindsided us. Though Andrew DeLuca was a great doctor, he could sometimes make unwise decisions, and trying to handle a sex trafficker without the help of the police definitely qualifies.
Oh, you call the police. I'm following her. I let her out of the hospital once. I'm not doing it again.
Opal badly wounded Andrew, and he was rushed back to the hospital for surgery. Though it initially seemed like he would recover, he coded and never woke up again. The character did get a little bit more closure in his exit than some others have.
I'll miss you. If I go back and you don't, I miss you.
You'll be okay, Meredith. You will. You'll be okay.
Somehow, though, the send-off only makes the whole thing harder. For Andrew's friends on screen and his fans off it, this shock was hard to absorb.
Is somebody going to call it?
Number 4, Lexie Grey. Sometimes you don't know a thing until it's too late.
I love you. I've always been in love with you. I will always be in love with you.
Watching Meredith and her half-sister develop their relationship was compelling, but it was Lexie's romance with Mark Sloan that really hooked us on this character, which is why the plane crash that abruptly ended her life remains such a painful standout event in the series. Though Lexie survived the initial wreckage of the plane, it became clear that she was fatally injured. Finally aware of his feelings for her, Mark refused to accept that fate.
I'm not holding your hand because you're not dying.
Hold my hand.
No, you're not dying. Do you hear me? You don't die today.
As the clock wound down on her time, Mark dreamed a future with Lexie that we knew they would never get to have.
That's nice.
We're gonna be happy, Lex. You and me. We're gonna have the best life, Lexie, you and me. We're gonna be so happy.
Realizing how much better they deserve just twists the knife in deeper. Number 3, Mark Sloan. And the hits just keep on coming. Though Mark appeared to have survived the crash with only a crushing heartbreak to show for it, we would soon learn that his heart was in much more physical distress as a result of his injuries. Though he seemed at peace with following Lexie, we still believed that the show couldn't be so cruel.
Sophia's waiting for you, and Callie is waiting for you, and I am waiting for you. We're gonna go home together, okay?
Oh, we have little faith. The next season would open with the revelation that he'd since slipped into a coma. Eventually, the difficult decision was made to remove him from life support.
His directive was very specific. If after 30 days there were no signs of recovery, Mark wouldn't be let go. That's all we're doing. Honoring his wish.
Mark's death would have been sad no matter what, but it's the 1-2 punch of losing him and Lexie, plus the tease that he might survive, that really wrecked us. Number 2, George O'Malley. When a John Doe patient was delivered to the ER, what little was known about him made it clear he was a hero.
The next thing I know, he throws me out of the way of a bus I'm about to walk in front of and almost gets himself killed. He swept me off my feet.
Sad, but business as usual at Seattle Grace. That is, until Meredith made a terrible discovery.
007. 007.
As one of the original newbie doctors who we started the series with, it had been a bittersweet farewell when George O'Malley decided to leave to become an Army trauma surgeon.
Congratulations, Doctor. Welcome to the Army.
The future
Thank you.
is never the way we imagined it.
To discover that he had met such a sudden and brutal fate was truly shocking. George was the kind of character you wanted to see succeed. Nothing could have prepared us for how unfair his loss truly was. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Thatcher Grey. It's hard not to get emotional over deathbed regrets.
I had a life, Meredith, because of you. My own, real, honest, painful, incredible life. I just wish you and I could have shared it.
Ellis Grey. Her death only got sadder the more we learned about this complicated relationship.
You were anything but ordinary, Meredith.
Dylan Young. He holds the distinction of being the only character Shonda Rhimes regrets killing off. Mary Portman. She survived a major tragedy only to die after a routine operation.
To imagine someone surviving a crazy gunman and then not to survive such a simple surgery.
I have to go and tell Bill that it's time. He has a decision to make.
Doc the dog. Why is the dog's death always a million times harder to watch?
You know, the thing is, he wasn't really my dog for that long. He was poor Derek's dog.
Meredith. He was a good dog.
He was.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Derek Shepherd. If there was one thing we thought we were sure of, it was that Meredith Grey and Derek Shepherd were meant to be.
I love you, Meredith Grey. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
The last thing we ever expected was to have Dr. McDreamy stolen from us like he was. Unfortunately, Derek's instinct to help those in need ended up putting him on a literal collision course with destiny. Still, as bad as it looked, his continued internal monologue gave us hope that things would be okay.
You're not dead. Just breathe.
I need 4 units of blood.
Scalp black. Probably multiple fractures. Try and hold still.
Ultimately, Meredith was the one who had to make the impossible call to terminate life support. On a series that never shies away from tragedy, nothing will ever quite reach the devastating low of watching Meredith's final goodbye to her soulmate.
It's okay. You go. We'll be fine.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.